Hi, my name is Seraphal, and I like to give my dolls new faces inspired by things that I like. Today, I'll be giving a new face to this Core Refresh Frankie, inspired by the artist Aria Flair and their look using the Strawberry Cupid collection from makeup brand Flower Nose. So, Strawberry Cupid. Wouldn't that suit Draculaura a bit more than Frankie? Or even be something that should be saved for Cupid's eventual release? I'll say that I did consider it. In fact, I originally really wanted to do this look on Draculaura, but I personally prefer not working on a mold twice in a row, and I was in the middle of my Rebel Heart Ray Draculaura when the idea came to fruition. I've stated time and time again how much I adore Frankie's mold, and honestly, they just have a face that is so cute. While I was mulling over the other options in my fodder box, I remembered that I had this Frankie with the kind of controversial pink streak. And I only say controversial because I just saw some very passionate opinions over it when they were first revealed. Anyway, I felt like this Frankie would be the perfect base for a super pink look. To be completely honest with you, I don't really know what to talk about in my voiceover sometimes. I'm like 6 videos in and I feel like a broken record just repeating myself. But I guess for this video, I'll go a bit more into the quote-unquote why I'm doing something as opposed to what I usually do, which is just telling you the what with very brief descriptions of how. So, the sketch. I'm using a blue close to Frankie's skin tone with a super light hand. I like to think of this part as starting on the bare face. So I'm going to mostly focus on the eye shape and the placement, and later on the eyebrows, to get an idea of what kind of expression that I want. For this look, I'm leaning more towards a neutral yet dreamy look. When it comes to drawing on the base colors, I think it's best to start with white first, even if I don't follow that rule myself sometimes. It's easier to fix a mistake in a lighter color over a mistake in a darker one. I use a dark brown pencil instead of black at this point for that very reason. With my reference close by, I focus that dark brown where the eyeliner would be drawn. By the way, I'm going to be using a lot of makeup adjacent terms because 1, I'm referencing specific makeup looks, and 2, I look at Faceups very much like doing makeup. That's part of the reason why I have so much fun doing this hobby. Anyway, I'll use a pink to draw their under eye bags, kind of like how makeup artists use colored eyeshadow to draw on theirs to make their whole look more cohesive. In the same way you would start a lip combo, I use my pastels to lay down a shade of nude brown pink for Frankie's base lip. After I clean up the edges, I'll add a brighter cherry red/pink on top. And to dull the brightness, I'll layer the base color on top again, just going back and forth. For their eyes, I'm going in with the same nude brown pink all over their eyelid. The cherry red pink will then be concentrated on the outer lower lash line. I'm basically looking at the reference picture and matching the colors. It really helps that I know the exact palette being used too, so it's even easier to get an idea of the colors that I'll need for the whole look. Because I use such a light hand on my sketch and on the first layer of color, I'm basically giving myself a head start and going in with black now to finalize my lines where I can while I'm still on this layer of MSC. I also mentioned before that pastels can sometimes give your pencils a bit more of a grip. I'm not sure if you can notice, but I'm bringing my black a little lower than where my sketch is. In this style of makeup, you usually apply your eyeliner or eyeshadow the slightest bit lower than where your eyes actually are to make your eyes look bigger. If you look closely, Aria Flair did the same. I almost forgot the super flushed pink cheeks. It's a little light now, but the colors will be built up next layer. time to rinse and repeat. My second layer is usually reserved for building up colors and blending, like adding gray to the whites of the eyes, blending out the irises, basically the rendering part of any sort of art piece. I'll also only line the center of Frankie's lip crease because lining the full lip crease tends to emphasize how smiley G3's lip mold is, in my opinion. In my time doing face-ups, I've gotten a few comments about how soft my faces look. While the fact that I only ever use pencils and pastels play a huge part, I also put a lot of focus on blending. After I put down another layer of color on Frankie's eyelid, I use a dark brown to soften the divide between their black quote-unquote eyeliner and the eyeshadow. Basically, a lot of the things that I do on my face-ups I've learned directly from makeup artists. For example, if I want to concentrate color, I'll tap my brush to really pack the color on. Likewise, if I want a soft wash or a smooth blend, I'll sweep my brush back and forth. You can also tap your brush on your hand to distribute the pastel evenly onto the bristles. I'm now on my third layer. I've already lined everything, so here I'm just using some pastel to blend out the irises because the pencil alone wasn't doing it for me. This is usually the last layer of color for me, but I can see wanting to do a fourth. I personally just think that this is enough color and I'm stingy with my MSC. I also like adding details like eyelashes and moles on this last layer because they'll look a lot more delicate. For this look, I'll draw out the longest point lashes first and then lightly scratch on the filler lashes in between afterwards. I tried drawing lashes on their inner eye, but I didn't like the way that it looked. If you know that you're going to be a bit picky with lash placement like I am, I definitely suggest drawing the lashes first thing on the new layer so that you don't mess up everything else. No worries though, because I'll just reapply the erased pencil and pastels, and since we already have 2 layers of color underneath, it won't look patchy. The eyelids were looking too brown in my opinion, so I used the cherry red to bring the pinky vibe back. I'll finally add some pearlescent pigment to the inner corners and very lightly tap some high up on Frankie's cheeks, kind of like you would highlighter. And with some catch lights, they've finally come to life. Here's the final look for my Strawberry Cupid / Aria Flare inspired Frankie. After a boil wash, I used lots of gel to shape the pink streak in their hair into a heart to really sell the Cupid look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave any questions, comments, or critiques for me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!